Hello, beautiful soul. So today I want to talk to you about the sacral chakra. In the last video, we spoke about the root chakra. So today we're going to focus on the sacral chakra and also speak about the womb trauma and regression and why sometimes it's key to go back to the womb in order for us to release traumas that the soul couldn't handle during the womb process before your birth. So the sacral chakra, also known as the navel chakra, this is the chakra of energy, of creative co-creation manifestation, right? Like this is the chakra that gives birth to new things, from us humans to animals and trees, plants, right? So this energy of co-creation is super important because this chakra also holds, it's like the call center. I like to see it as the call center that brings all the different emotions and feelings that the soul hasn't been able to work through yet. So it's like a storage unit. So all the feelings and emotions that needs to be worked through are sitting in the sacral chakra unconsciously, creating your reality now, because at a deep level from the sacral chakra is what we create this reality from. So in the previous video about the root chakra, we spoke about the root chakra and how it brings the DNA to make this physical shell with predetermined beliefs and behaviors that composes our personality. The sacral chakra is about what we are feeling, emotions and things that we're keeping within us. And sometimes we don't even share that with the outside. So when we think about the sacral chakra, it has a lot of the information on the entire life lesson that are yet unresolved. So the new life challenges will be revealed at the right time when you and the spirit team can believe that you are ready to deal with those traumas, so with those emotions, so that at the same time, this call center that is like a storage unit that is putting all of these emotions there, past, future, present, these life issues, all of them coming in together and being stored at the sacral, so that little by little, baby steps, by baby steps, you can address these issues. So it really does have a tremendous amount of power, because those emotions, if they're not in balance, if they're not for your highest good, and obviously if you haven't addressed those issues before, it's because a lot of those emotions are heavy. So by working on the sacral chakra and going through the womb regression and going back to childhood, you're going to be able to unpack a lot of those emotions. And a lot of the traumas are sitting in the experience of the womb, because that's when we decide to come here and we pick up so much from our parents. Our first thoughts and reactions to what it means to be alive, even before being born, is coming from the womb. So when you go through the womb regression, it is an aha moment, because you realize, oh my God, I have been dealing with this even before I was born. And of course, a lot of those traumas could be coming from past lives, because what happens is the womb reactivates sometimes issues that happen in past lives that you haven't addressed yet. So it is a combination of all of these things, a repository, and everything is being stored there so that you can unpack little by little what you can handle at each time within different life phases that we all go through. So a lot of us ancestral history is also stored. The traumas the ancestors had is also stored in the sacral chakra, so that we can help to navigate through those issues and release them for the family line. Obviously the sacral chakra has the organs, the sexual organs, as well as the kidneys that govern this chakra. And those, the kidneys have such a function, and the sexual organs obviously have such an important function. So what we're going to focus in this video is about the potential things that you could be experiencing if the sacral chakra is blocked. So, but also if it's overactive, you might be feeling, especially those that are opening up to their empathic abilities, that you are super hyper extra sensitive, and that it can be very overwhelming because the sacral chakra might be sending so much information to the rest of the body that really you can go into super hypersensitivity. And those that are empaths would be like, why am I feeling the ups and downs? And sometimes it's because this chakra is also letting you know all those things that you pick up from other people that behave like mirrors. They're also letting you know what you need to work on. So it's a very important energy center to pay attention to in regards to what triggers you when you're picking up information from others by having this overactive energy center. So the empaths going through their spiritual awakening, maybe really picking up a lot of things and feeling it in different ways, especially if they're heavily triggered. That means that there is definitely something going on potentially with your sacral chakra as well, besides obviously the heart and the other ones. But the sacral chakra is going to have that hypersensitivity, so that when you feel it, you know, like I have clients that say, sometimes I wake up and I'm having discharge. Sometimes the discharge looks really bad or smells really bad, or, you know, I don't want to get too too specific, but I think you get the idea. So whether it is under or overactive, that means obviously that there is a blockage that needs to be worked through. So what are some of those potential blockages? Obviously, the lack of sexual desire, lack of sexual drive, definitely is a problem, right? For a lot of people, especially if you're married, because you have to engage, right? So that's the obvious one. But what about those that are having sexually transmitted diseases? That is your sacral chakra also letting you know you need to reevaluate the situations, especially if you're having a lot of easy flowing relationships with different people all the time. And that can be also letting you know you don't feel safe, you don't feel loved, you don't feel worthy. So you have to keep hunting for that next person that is going to make you feel that for a few hours or potentially seconds, right, or minutes. So you may also have a lot of issues with parents and ancestors having addictions similar to sexual addictions, because sometimes a person doesn't have childhood trauma, but they have that sexual desire that is just out of control. And it could have been coming from past lives or ancestors that had these issues that they passed down through the DNA, as well as suicidal thoughts and attempts. These people that have a blocked sacral chakra are going to have suicidal thoughts and attempts. So you want to pay attention to that. If you're feeling low self-worth, low self-esteem, self-destruction behaviors and patterns, thoughts, feeling of rejection, abandonment, anger, frustration, resentment, you want to be looking into those things, because those emotions are letting you know, basically they're letting you know there is healing to be done. If you don't feel positive, and if you don't have positive boundaries, you know, some people say, I have boundaries, I am perfect because I have so many boundaries. It's not about having so many boundaries, it's about having healthy boundaries, right? So when you become aggressive about your boundaries, obviously that means that there is something wrong with how you're setting up your boundaries. And perhaps you're trying to protect yourself to the point where you become aggressive and very stern and stubborn with some of those boundaries. Some people that are very spiritual, they will say, I cannot do X, Y, and Z because it's not allowed in my religion. That could be also coming from having a sacral chakra that is out of balance because they need the approval of godparents or elders in order for them to feel like they belong somewhere. So I'm not going to get into that, but anyways, the womb regression is key for those that are having issues with sacral chakra, because in the womb regression, we can go back and see what was that experience like? What was your mother feeling in the womb? The child, the baby already knows and can tell and can tap into what the parents are feeling, what they're saying, even what is happening outside that is creating ideas and thoughts, things like it's not safe to be outside, it's not safe to be an adult, it's not safe to be by yourself because you're unprotected when you don't have a partner, there is no money, so I need to have money to be successful and worthy. I need to have, some people are worried about how am I going to eat when I get outside, because here I get everything from mommy, but what do I do when I'm outside? Like people that have a lot of issues with financial challenges, they may also be feeling that the mother was very worried, or the father was very worried with money issues while the baby was waiting to come out. Allergies can be telling you that you feel like the planet is against you. Everything has a very specific meaning and purpose for you feeling that. So in the sacral chakra, we could also be holding on to past traumas to the point where we don't want to let it go. If we let it go, there is new trauma that is going to come in, and then I don't know that new trauma. What am I going to do? Am I going to be able to handle it? At least I can handle this one because I know it for so long. So the sacral chakra is really having so much input all the time about everything that is happening outside of you, but you internalize it. And when you internalize it, it creates an emotion and it is stored within you. So a lot of people that have a lot of anger, that they develop cancer, like colon cancer, that's suppressed anger that they haven't been able to address. And because everything feels like it's a war, like it's survival, like maybe ancestors were slaves, maybe ancestors fought a lot of wars, and that is repeating in a different way here now for you because you need to work through it in a different way. So you may be feeling like you're always fighting with other people, fighting in traffic, fighting with family, fighting to make yourself be respected or whatever it may be. That can be something that the sacral chakra is letting you know there is healing to be done. Letting go and forgiveness is also another one that it is something that is stored in the sacral chakra. Like if you're really not letting go and you're holding on so tight, and you cannot find your way to forgiveness, that means something is off with the sacral chakra. That you could also be attacking yourself, like feeling like you're always blaming, always feeling shame, guilt about things that happen. I had a client that because she was sick, she will get organic foods, but her siblings couldn't get organic food. So she was always feeling unconsciously because the other ones will let them know and will look at her like, why are you special and I'm not treated special? And obviously she loved her siblings. So there was feelings of guilt that came with that relationship that had to be healed, that had to be released. If you're feeling a lot of numbness, a lot of dissociation, That can also be coming from the womb, especially if your mother had to have anesthesia. And that is something that needs to be worked in regression, to go back to the womb in order to release and completely detach from that anesthesia. And it can create a lot of issues for many people until they die if they don't work through that. So feeling disconnected from this reality, from family and friends, can also be because of the medicine that, or the drugs and alcohol that your mother experienced while you were inside her. Also feeling uncomfortable with your body, because the sacral is about who you are. Are you male, female? Do you feel like you belong, like you have an identity? Do you feel safe within your body? That is part of the sacral chakra work. If you feel like you're not bonding with other people, with parents, siblings, and so on, that can also be coming from womb trauma. So if we really talk about the womb trauma, we can, based on the sessions that I have done and some of the work that I have read from other doctors and books, I can tell you that the way that you were born brings a lot of knowledge about the traumas that you were supposed to experience in this life. Like people that have a breech birth, they feel like issues out of everywhere, right? But because they come with such a spiritual calling, the breech birth basically is letting them know even before they're born that the challenges that they're going to experience is so that they can help others. Where someone that is born in a C-section, they feel like they are putting so much resistance because they don't want to be born, but they're taking out. So they're having issues with perhaps hopelessness, feeling control, feeling like they don't know what to think about themselves and their emotions, feeling like they're always being pulled in so many different directions. Like if your mother had to have like if you had to be taken out with forceps, you might also feel that pull to go into different directions because you're being pulled out of your comfort zone constantly. So you're reproducing the same thing that happened in the womb without realizing that you're recreating the same experience, because it is how you came out of the womb. It is the first time that you're coming into this reality after being in the belly. So unconsciously, you might be repeating the same patterns. If you are born, perhaps, like, let's say, I don't know, like if your mother had a regular birth, natural, that would be ideal, right? Everything was perfect. You would think so, but some people go through a natural birth and they realize that they have so many issues because it was so painful for the mother that the soul of the mother left for a second. So now the child feels like, oh my God, mom died and left me. So even though the soul may come back and the mother is okay and everything, for that split second that the soul left, the child might be feeling that I caused my mom pain and she died because of me. So anyways, there is so much that we can be talking about when it comes through the womb, and perhaps that would be a session by a different video by itself. But I just wanted to give you like a quick overview of what that looks like, because a lot of people don't realize all the issues that they have. A lot of them can be resolved simply by going into the womb and addressing those things. Like for some people, that's just like the thing that clicks, and from there on, they can make and have such a huge improvement in so many areas of their life. So anyways, like induced labor, right? Like people that are born and when they were induced, these people might be struggling with emotions from the mother. The mother may have been so tired, they just needed to pop it out. And unconsciously, the baby who's the adult now, may have been feeling all the feelings that the mother was feeling without realizing that most of those feelings belongs to the mother, not to themselves. Anyway, so moving on, other issues that have to do with the sacral chakra might be bleeding. When people are bleeding, it's almost like you're giving up a part of your life that you an area of your life that you don't know how to take back control, like, and it can become so painful that you bleed it out. So understanding when you're having those challenges, what is happening with me, so that you can understand why X, Y, and Z is happening. People that are grieving may have lost a twin brother or sister in the womb, and they have no idea why their whole life they feel like they're always with this cloud, this gray cloud. And it may be because of the womb, a twin that was never born, or that just came halfway to go with you until you were able to continue on your own. But the loss of that other person, of that other soul, makes you always feel like you're grieving something that you have no idea who or what you're grieving. What else? Sacral issues like feeling like rejected throughout life, feeling like Mondoson, Mondoson, we don't have that connection because maybe at one point the mother felt like, I don't know if I want to have this baby, and having second thoughts. And from that moment, that little moment, whether it was a day, an hour, 30 seconds, or a month or 3 months, that moment of the doubt creates an emotion for the child, even from the womb, saying, I don't even know if I want to be here anymore. I feel rejected. I feel abandoned. I feel like I don't belong here. And it may have been because of that very small amount of time that your mother contemplated, should I have this baby or not? If you're having issues with parasites, that might be the your body letting you know that there are some desires that you're not really comprehending, perhaps feeling of guilt due to past lives or something in childhood on the womb or the womb. Perhaps mom was having an affair, and knowing of the affair and having that guilt that mom couldn't do X, Y, and Z because she was pregnant, and now she couldn't go with the love of her life because, she has to stay with the father because you're now being born. And that had happened to a session, one of my clients, where this person was always dealing with a lot of personal area, private area parasites. And it was all related to that specific situation that happened in the womb when the mother was cheating and having an affair. If somebody's having a lot of cramps, like sometimes the woman, but even the guys can also experience discomfort, right? That can also be letting you know that there is something that you need to let go, that you're not really understanding that you need to let go of. So anything else? Inferiority issues may also be coming from past lives as well, especially those people, like especially women, right? Because a lot of women in past lives, if you're a woman in a past life where you were working magic or doing something that was not allowed, and therefore, or your leadership roles was taken away from you, that may be affecting you now and feeling inferior, like you cannot be authentic, you cannot be the leader, you cannot be the alpha, because if you are, then something bad can happen. Let's see, anything else? Feeling out like people that were sexually abused, whether it is in this life or past life, they might feel like they have to hide behind a lot of like not feeling beautiful, like doing things not to feel beautiful, because it could be scary to be beautiful because then something bad can happen. Or feeling I don't know, like feeling lack of respect for others can also be a major sacral chakra issue, because they might be feeling like, if they might see that other people are easily valued for what they do, but they're not. So that is a sacral chakra issue, because it's triggering you to say, oh my God, why do I always feel like I'm not being respected and valued for what I do for others? Pushing people away, of course, because you might be afraid of being hurt. And that is also part of the sacral chakra challenges that you may need to heal. So there's a million things that we can say. And some things you will notice that not only correspond to the sacral and the root and so on, but can be in many other different energy centers as part of those issues too, that can block the different chakras. So, but this is just an overview to get an idea of what happens when my sacral chakra is compromised. Do I feel myself? Do I feel safe in this body as a woman, as a man, or, you know, bisexual, whatever you are, right? Like, do I feel like I can co-create my reality? And because I am co-creating my reality, if you're co-creating from fear, anger, resentment, low vibration, what you're creating is what you don't want. So you have to identify what is it that is no longer working for me, so that I can figure out how to let it go, identify it, so that you can, that's the first step of the healing process, so that you can work through it in order for you to release it. And in the healing journey, it is step by step, baby steps. There is no magic trick, right? So be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much. Thank you.